It is the triumphant return of Office Hours with DJ Doc V. Good morning, 10:03 a.m. on Friday, September 1st, the end of the first week of classes for the fall 2023 semester. This is DJ Doc V. I'm speaking with you from the Vaquero Radio studios, right off the library, on the top floor of the auditorium building attached to the library. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Got some great music picked out for you today, including some Heart, some George Michael, some Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I guess we could call them oldies, since most of these songs are from the 20th century rather than the 21st century. So that's okay, though. That's just how we roll here at Vaquero Radio. Got a great This Day in History coming up at the bottom of the hour, and poem from the 2022 Gallery magazine. That'll be at about 50 minutes after the hour. It is 85 degrees in the beautiful Rio Grande Valley, sunny skies. We're looking at a high this afternoon of about 100 with sunny skies. A slight, and I mean 1% chance of potential precipitation. Unlikely to see any rain here in the upper valley. But by the time we hit 1 o'clock, you can expect around 100 degrees. That's a bit of a bummer. But we're getting used to it, aren't we? Tomorrow, looks like on Saturday the 2nd, a high of 99. Sunday, a high of 101. And Monday and Tuesday, highs of 103 degrees. Are we ever going to see some relief? I don't know. We're starting to get used to it. That's too bad. I don't like getting used to that hot weather. So, but we know how it is here in the valley. It's a small price to pay for living in such a rich and rewarding community. Great stuff going on. Remember this is Labor Day weekend, so thank a union member. Give him a big hug next time you see him. But for now, let's get back to the music. This is Fee Waybill. For those unfamiliar with his name, he was the lead singer of the new wave group The Tubes, but this is him on his own off of the St. Elmo's Fire movie soundtrack. This one's called Saved My Life by Fee Waybill, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. By Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart, Eurythmics, from the 9.5 Weeks movie soundtrack. 9.5 Weeks is a film released in 1986, directed by Adrian Lyne, starring Kim Basinger and Mickey Rourke. Basinger portrays a New York City art gallery employee who has a brief yet intense affair with a mysterious Wall Street broker played by Rourke. This was a box office bomb in the United States when it was released. Grossing $6.7 million on a $17 million budget. But the soundtrack, which includes Corey Hart, some Joe Cocker, it includes that Eurythmics song, sold well, and the film became a huge success internationally in its unedited version. It was completed in 1984, but it didn't get released until February of 1986 in the United States because it was considered too explicit by its American distributor, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, or MGM Films. It was heavily edited for release in the United States. So didn't do as well in the United States as it did around the world. So that was Eurythmics. Before that, we heard Billy Joel with Only the Good Die Young. We started off that set with Fee Waybill, formerly of The Tubes, with a song called Saved My Life. Good morning, Vaqueros. It's DJ Doc V. You're listening to Office Hours with DJ Doc V. It is Friday, September 1st. Hopefully your first week of classes went well. I can say my classes went well. I thought we had some great engagement with students, and really looking forward to the rest of the semester. It's 88 degrees in the upper Rio Grande Valley. We're expecting a high of 100 degrees later today. Very slight, like 1% chance of precipitation. A little bit more of a chance overnight, about 5% chance of some rain in the area. But for now, let's get back to the music. And this is George Michael. May his Soul Rest in Peace, or Rest in Power, perhaps, is a better term. This is a song called Praying for Time from his Listen Without Prejudice LP. Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Perry Farrell, Dave Navarro, and the boys, that's Jane's Addiction with Mountain Song. Saw that one live at the Aloha Tower in Honolulu, Hawaii, way back in, what was it, 1993? I think that was one, well, maybe 92. That's when lead singer Perry Farrell did half the show buck naked. That's right, he was on the stage buck naked. I don't have the video of it. But it's probably out there somewhere on the internet. There are definitely some pictures, that's for sure. So before that, we heard George Michael with Praying for Time. Died too young, George Michael. But as we do every week on office hours, it's time for This Day in History. And on September 1st, 1864, Atlanta falls to the Union forces. On August 28, 1864, Union Army General William Tecumseh Sherman lays siege to Atlanta, Georgia, a critical Confederate hub, shelling civilians and cutting off supply lines. The Confederates retreated, destroying the city's munitions as they went. On November 15th of that year, Sherman's troops burned much of the city before continuing their march through the South. Sherman's Atlanta campaign was one of the most decisive victories of the Civil War. Sherman's Atlanta campaign began on May 4th, 1864, and in the first few months, his troops engaged in several fierce battles with Confederate soldiers on the outskirts of the city, including the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain, which the Union forces lost. However, on September 1st, Sherman's men successfully captured Atlanta and continued to defend it through mid-November against Confederate forces led by John Hood. Before he set off on his famous March to the Sea on November 15th, Sherman ordered that Atlanta's military resources, including munitions factories, clothing mills, and railway yards, be burned. The fire got out of control and left Atlanta in ruins. Also on this day in history, Japan's Great Kanto earthquake kills over 140,000 people. That was in 1923. In 1971, the Pittsburgh Pirates field Major League Baseball's first all-black lineup. Oh, goodness. That wasn't good. Let's see. The first all-black lineup in Major League Baseball history in the team's 10-7 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. The history-making event receives zero coverage in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's major two newspapers, both were on strike at the time, and is mentioned only briefly during the team's radio broadcast. Only 11,278 attend the game in Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium. Also on this day, in 1985, the wreck of the Titanic was found in the northern Atlantic. In 2004, Chechen separatists storm a Russian school. And in 1969, Muammar Gaddafi leads a coup in Libya. Oh, another one of those. Look at that. Oh, jeez. 27-year-old Libyan army captain Muammar al-Gaddafi leads a successful military coup against King Idris I of Libya. Idris was deposed, and Gaddafi was named chairman of Libya's new governing body, the Revolutionary Command Council. He was born in a tent, Gaddafi was, in the Libyan desert in 1942, son of a Bedouin farmer. He was a gifted student, graduating from the University of Libya in 1963 and the Libyan Military Academy at Benghazi in 1965. In the late 1990s, Gaddafi sought to lead Libya out of its long international isolation by turning over to the West two suspects wanted for the 1988 explosion of an airliner over Lockerbie, Scotland. In response, the United Nations lifted sanctions against Libya. The United States removed its own embargo in September of 2004. After years of rejection in the Arab world, Gaddafi also sought to forge stronger relations with non-Islamic African nations such as South Africa, remodeling himself as an elder African statesman. That's This Day in History here on Vaquero Radio. It is Friday, September 1st at 10:36. Let's get back to the music with a little Led Zeppelin for your Friday morning. This one's called All of My Love, and it's only on Vaquero Radio. That's Anna Nancy Wilson of Heart with Kick It Out. Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Thanks for tuning in. It's Friday, September 1st at 10:50. You're listening to DJ Doc V with Office Hours every Friday at 10 a.m. Unfortunately, the looks like the Feminist Hour is not going to be coming on after us because there's no power in Brownsville. So, and maybe that's the power going back on in Brownsville. Who knows? I don't know what's going on. Before Heart, you heard Front 242 with Headhunter version 1.0, and we started off that set with Led Zeppelin and All of My Love from their greatest hits, multiple greatest hits compilation albums by Led Zeppelin.
There's no power in Brownsville.
There's still no power in Brownsville. That's the phone we got. So that's the call we got. All right. As we do every time here on Office Hours, I have selected a poem that I'm going to recite for you here. This is from the 2022 Gallery Magazine. Next week, I promise I'll get you the 2023 Gallery Magazine. We'll do a poem from that one. But this one is called Corte de Pelo by Kaylee Hernandez. Scissors blind me for a second, gleaming in the fluorescent light. I close my eyes. Romeo Santos, Pitbull, and Shakira blaring behind me. I kind of hate coming here. I sit calmly as my hair is moistened, then cut. I can feel some of the cold water on my neck. Sometimes the ladies won't talk to me at all. If they do, the conversation is always the same. Yes, this is my natural color. Si es natural. No, I've never dyed it. No, nunca. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I know it's really thick. My dad's hair is real thick too. Always complimented on the color. I guess a dirty blonde shade that isn't too common around here. I've always told people it came from my mom, even though her hair is white now. Haircuts always make me anxious. It's a pretty intimate space you share with someone you don't know for longer than a bank line conversation. Maybe it feels so intimate because someone is touching your head and your hair. Who else besides lovers and family? Maybe children who place their hands on your head. After all, the head is a keeper of the brain, a few layers of skull, skin, and hair between others and your innermost thoughts. I've swiveled around to face myself in the mirror, although blurry until I replace my glasses, held tightly under the plastic chair cloth. I always feel like a ghost in a sheet until it's taken off. Looking at myself, I can see a fresh dew, a new you, but I feel the same. That's a poem called Corte de Pelo by Kaylee Hernandez from the 2022 edition of Gallery Magazine, another great production of UTRGV student media. 10:53 here in the beautiful Edinburgh campus of UTRGV. Thanks for tuning in this morning. We'll be back again next week with Office Hours on Friday at 10 a.m. Here's a little Jefferson Airplane for you. This one's even before my time, and I'm old. This one's called Somebody to Love, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station.